Mineral Wells, Texas is home to a believed magical health secret mineral-rich water, aka crazy water. In the 1880s, people would travel from all over for one of Mineral Wells' healing water. People once believed this water would cure anything from dementia to physical ailments. People still drink it to this day. In 1929, the Baker Hotel opened its doors in Mineral Wells. It was a beautiful 14-floor hotel with 450 rooms. Baker Hotel used the mineral water to attract its many famous tenants. Some of these celebrities included Bonnie and Clyde, the Three Stooges, and Judy Garland. This $1.2 million hotel was open for a short amount of time due to the effects of the Great Depression and World War II. With so many people checking in and out, it makes sense that some of its guests seem to have never left. The old, abandoned hotel is still very much alive today. If you ever find yourself in the Fort Worth area, travel 51 miles west to Mineral Wells and visit the haunted Baker Hotel. T.D. Baker built the Baker Hotel in 1929 and opened its doors 2 weeks after the construction completed. The hotel went bankrupt in 1932 during the stock market crash, but new owners kept it running for a few more years. During World War II, it changed hands again and served as military dependents' quarters from 1941 to 1944. It reopened as a hotel from 1963 until 1972, but has remained closed ever since. Legend says the place is haunted by the spirits of those who came seeking the healing mineral water pools, but never left alive. The most famous tale is of T.D. Baker and his mistress. Baker is believed to linger in the Baker Suite on the 11th floor, where he reportedly died, forever pacing the halls of his grand creation. Tour guides knock before entering to avoid angering him. Visitors claim the entire 11th floor carries the scent of cigar smoke, a nod to Baker's old habit. When tourists enter his suite, small belongings sometimes vanish from pockets or bags, only to reappear on the floor hours later, discovered by guides as they close up for the night. Baker seems to be having some fun in the afterlife. Many tourists say they come hoping for an encounter with the man himself. Baker was believed to have a mistress whom he kept on the 7th floor. It is said that she jumped from the window of the 7th floor to her death. The reason for her suicide is unknown, but her fate as a permanent guest of the Baker is sealed. Some say the affair became too much for her, so she decided to take her own life. She has been spotted by countless patrons, and her lavender perfume is difficult to miss. Many visitors have spotted the spirit of the mistress. Her red hair, piercing green eyes, and lavender perfume is unmistakable. She was first seen in the 1950s by a hotel worker. More recently, a maid of the hotel found broken glass scattered all over a room on the 7th floor, stained with the same red lipstick her ghost has been seen wearing. The mistress will roam to different floors if she gets restless. Tour guides will hear the sounds of her high heels walking on. Mistress Baker is a playful ghost known for touching and poking male tourists she takes a liking to, making her one of the hotel's most active spirits alongside Baker himself. The most chilling spirit is a Belloc who tragically died in a 1950s elevator accident that severed him in half, with sightings showing only his upper body. Historical records confirm his death, matching reports of the apparition. Another ghostly presence is a young boy who died around 1933 from leukemia, while seeking healing from the mineral springs, often seen with a shaggy dog by his side. Unlike most spirits at the Baker Hotel, this boy has reached out to local mediums asking for help, though many ghosts choose to remain. One medium suggested that, despite its eerie reputation, the Baker is less a place. In the 1990s, a local woman working at a drive-through bank noticed that windows on several floors of the Baker Hotel would be opened and then later closed on the same day. She often spotted the open windows during slow times and, along with a few co-workers, began tracking which windows opened or closed and when. After a while, the pattern became unpredictable, with no clear reason for the changes. The hotel had been vacant since 1970. Tour guides came and went during the day but never stayed past dark, meaning no one should have been there to shut the windows when the bank employee saw them close. The Baker Hotel is widely considered a very haunted spot, drawing countless visitors each year. It's a place where ghosts seem to coexist with the natural world, not one to fear, but to admire for its beauty. Once home to luxurious spas and famous guests, it welcomed the sick seeking rest and healing, some taking their final breaths there, others perhaps lingering in spirit to share its rich history. Restoration plans are already underway to return the Baker Hotel to its former glory. Will you be among the first to visit? The Alamo is one of the most enduring stories of heroism and sacrifice in American history, and a proud symbol of Texas. To some, it's more than history, it's home to the spirits of the past. Whether the ghosts said to roam its grounds are restless souls with unfinished business, or simply lingering shadows of those who never moved on, the Alamo is often called one of the most haunted places in Texas, and it's not hard to see why. Since 1718, the Alamo Mission in San Antonio has seen centuries of change, from its beginnings as a Spanish mission, to its time as a Mexican stronghold, to its place in the Texas Revolution as a stage for unforgettable acts of bravery. Today, it stands in downtown San Antonio as a living piece of history, a museum, and a must-see destination where visitors can walk in the footsteps of Texas's greatest heroes. But with its long history of bloodshed and legend, darker tales also linger, stories of ghostly figures still locked in the battle that made this old mission famous. Whether or not these spirits are real, their legends are enough to make even skeptics glance over their shoulder when wandering the Alamo after dark. It all began in 1716, when the Spanish government established missions across Texas to serve travelers and convert local tribes to Catholicism. By 1718, a humble mud and straw structure stood near the headwaters of the San Antonio River, marking the over the next few years, storms destroyed the original structure, causing it to be relocated several times before settling in its current spot in 1724. In the decades that followed, permanent adobe buildings were added, including priests' quarters, barracks for local natives, and workshops. Several attempts were made to build a permanent church on site, but construction failures meant it was never completed or used. With a nearby presidio poorly equipped to fend off attacks, the mission was fortified against raids from Apache and Comanche tribes. In 1745, 100 native residents successfully fought off more than 300 Apache warriors, likely saving the mission, presidio, and town. In the years after, 2-foot-thick perimeter walls were built for better defense. By 1793, the mission had fallen into decline, with most of the native population gone and the site secularized. It was soon abandoned and seemed forgotten. By the 19th century, the abandoned site had become known as the Alamo. During the Mexican War of Independence, it served first as a political prison and later as a hospital. After Mexico's independence in 1821, the mission came under Mexican control until 1835, when General Martin Perfecto de Cos surrendered it to Texan forces during the Texas Revolution. The Battle of the Alamo has inspired more books, films, and legends than perhaps any other American battle, and while recounting them all here would hardly do justice to the story, it remains one worth telling. With the Mexican, General Sam Houston sent Colonel James Bowie with a small group of reinforcements to strengthen the position, and when Neal left to gather more support, command was shared between Bowie and William Travis. On February 23, the Mexican army under General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna arrived and laid siege to the Alamo for 13 days, before launching a brutal assault on March 6, killing nearly all the defending Texans and losing between 400 and 600 soldiers, about a third of their attacking force. Mexico held the Alamo for a few months after the battle, but with the end of the war and Texas's victory, it changed hands once more. Over the decades, it served as a military post for both the United States and the Confederacy during periods when it wasn't abandoned. By the late 19th century, the Alamo was nearly forgotten, but enough people recognized its significance to push for restoration. Legal disputes kept its future uncertain, but during the Great Depression, WPA funds helped restore it, adding a surrounding wall in the museum to honor its place as not just a Texan, but an American icon. With such a bloody history, it's no surprise the Alamo is steeped in ghost stories, many dating back to the days just after the battle. Days after the siege, Santa Anna ordered his men to burn it down. A cavalry unit under General Andrade set out to do so, but returned pale and shaken, claiming they had seen 6 ghostly figures wielding flaming swords, blocking the entrance to the abandoned mission. Skeptical of the stories, Andrade rode out to the site with a few men, only to see a dark spirit rise from the ashes of a ruined building, its hand engulfed in flames. Convinced the place was haunted by those who perished at the Alamo, Andrade and his men fled, never to return. These spirits may have saved the Alamo again in 1871, when demolition orders were issued. San Antonio locals claimed to see a ghost army marching in formation around the site, some guarding the historic buildings, and the plans were quickly dropped. By the late 19th century, the Alamo's haunted reputation was so strong that few night watchmen dared to stay. Having been a cemetery for nearly a century before the battle, it's no surprise ghostly tales abound, ranging from disembodied voices and an eerie sense of dread to specific apparitions. A pale guard is said to appear atop a building on stormy nights, while a ghost believed to be Mexican officer General Manuel Fernandez de Castrillon roams the grounds with hands clasped and head bowed in regret. The figures of a man in about 75 miles southeast of San Antonio sits the notorious Yorktown Memorial Hospital in Yorktown, Texas. Its dark, crumbling halls have drawn paranormal investigators from around the globe, all eager to uncover the secrets of former patients and staff. Many believe the spirits of the thousands who died here still roam the corridors, trapped in echoes of their troubled pasts. From terrifying visions of vengeful nuns to a haunted copy of the Pokey Little Puppy, you never know what you'll encounter in one of America's most haunted hospitals. The stretch between San Antonio and the Gulf of Mexico is dotted with charming small towns, but Yorktown offers something extra. This quaint Texas town is full of back roads and historic buildings, like the nearly 150-year-old C. Eckhart and Sons building, now home to the Yorktown Historical Museum. Just west of town, beyond Yorktown Creek and a few fast food spots, stands the foreboding hospital, its arched entrance untouched by brush overtaking the rest of the property. Built in 1950 by nuns and opened the following year as a tribute to locals who died in World War II, it remained under the care of the Felician Sisters of the Roman Catholic Church until 1986, when a new hospital in nearby Cuero shut it down for good. During its time under the care of the nuns, the hospital was said to have lost over 500 patients in a 6-year span. A staggering number of fatalities for such a small building and such a small amount of time. It's no wonder it is said to be plagued by wandering and restless spirits today. After its shutdown in the 80s, it opened once again to become a drug rehabilitation center until 1988. As one could probably guess, this definitely didn't help with the bad energy of the place. To this day, the Yorktown Memorial Hospital and the people who venture inside have been tormented by the spirits of this desolate building. There are plenty of stories about the true number of people who died in the hospital, but the number is said to be around 2,000. This may or may not be true, but it sure is a testament to the amount of paranormal activity that occurs here. The building itself is made up of about 30,000 sq feet, which includes a basement and 2 wings on either side. The second floor was strictly living quarters for those who worked there. Speaking of employees, when it was a rehab facility, it was incredibly difficult to find and keep staff. This eventually led to its final closure, as those under its care could not be controlled by the few people working there. One of these was named Dr. Leon Norierski. Dr. Norierski was one of the main medical professionals at the facility. He was an older gentleman and practiced medicine into his 90s. By the time of his retirement, he held the oldest medical license in Texas. Unfortunately, this didn't mean patients were the safest under his watch and hand. The doctor became known for his fatal mistakes during operations. One such mistake entailed him accidentally slitting the throat of a patient while operating on his thyroid. It's unclear how something like a throat slitting could be an accident, but maybe he should get the benefit of the doubt. Or should he? One of the well-known, and less frightening, spirits is of a little girl. Stacy is rumored to be one of the more interactive ghosts of the hospital. In life, her favorite book was The Pokey Little Puppy, and she had the nuns read it to her often. According to some, the book was actually a gift. In the afterlife, Stacy frequents several specific areas of the hospital. She is sometimes in her old room on the first floor, and other times she can be seen and heard playing in the basement hallways. Since she loved story time, she can be enticed by sitting in the library reading her favorite book. Stacy, being the playful 8-year-old she was, is said to also roll a ball if one asks her to. A few nuns are also known to still be hanging around, although stories of them aren't what one would expect. People who have investigated and toured the hospital claim that the nuns can be violent. Visitors have been choked, scratched, or rushed at, and it seems particularly bad for those who have tattoos. One sister has been seen in different spots around the building, and photos of her in her habit have been caught as well. A man by the name of Doug Richards is supposedly among the spirits active at this location. All that is really known about him is that he was a heavy equipment mechanic who somehow died there in '73. He roams the halls, and one will know it's him by his tall appearance and his white t-shirt and blue jeans outfit. During its time as a drug rehabilitation facility, a young man, some call him TJ, came to the establishment seeking help. But when he rang the back door bell, no one answered. It's unknown if the bell simply wasn't working correctly, or if the nurse on duty had fallen asleep. Either way, poor TJ didn't get help fast enough, and his body was found on the steps the next morning. Today, his apparition can sometimes be seen wander. The most violent incident that occurred here truly left its mark on the place. And in the most literal way. The story goes that there was a love triangle between a female employee, a co-worker, and a patient. In other versions of the account, it was a nurse and two patients. In both cases, the woman was caught in the boiler room with one lover by the other, and the one who caught the two reacted viciously. He stabbed the woman several times, killing her. The man she was with managed to wrestle the knife away from the attacker and ended up stabbing him to death, either in retaliation or self-defense. Blood spatter on the walls has remained there to this day. The caretaker of the building has claimed that he has had it forensically tested, and the result? Definitely human blood. The hospital is also a host to other, less identified apparitions and spirits. From orbs to shadow men, nearly everything has been caught on camera at this haunted location. It's also known as a hotspot for capturing top-notch EVPs, with many sessions yielding clear voices. Shadows frequent the halls, as well as the older OR rooms, and screams can be heard on occasion coming from the labor and delivery ward. One of the creepiest things to witness is the battery-operated dolls in a bedroom, which have been caught on camera responding accordingly to requests to laugh and converse without other interference. Some think that the dolls are a way for Stacy or the spirits of other children to talk. With roughly 2,000 recorded deaths on the property, the chance of witnessing a spirit of one of those is pretty high. The possibly negative energy from pieces of original furniture and even blood from a violent altercation could be what ties these spirits even tighter to the building. The Yorktown Memorial Hospital, from the faded red entry steps under the ominous Memorial Hospital inscription to the built in 1859 and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the Menger Hotel is one of the oldest and most well-known in all of Texas. As well as being of the oldest, it's also believed to be the most haunted in Texas, with no fewer than 32 separate ghosts reported throughout the years. Widely regarded as the most haunted hotel in Texas, the Menger Hotel in Alamo, Texas, is reportedly home to as many as 32 ghosts. Although none have been reported as threatening, you may come into contact with them as they go about their daily business. Of all the ghosts that continue to reside at the Menger, the highest profile has to be former President Teddy Roosevelt. It was here at the Menger Bar, where he would convince unsuspecting cowboys to join his detachment of Rough Riders over a free drink, or a few. Before they had time to sober up, they found themselves on the way to Fort Sam Houston for military training, before joining up with the forces fighting the Spanish-American War. It is here at the very bar he used for canvassing, where his apparition has been seen, often sitting at the bar enjoying a drink. The most often reported sighting is a woman called Sally White. She was a chambermaid at the hotel during Victorian times who, during her work shift, was attacked by her husband. Suffering from severe injuries, she tragically lost her life days later. According to the Menger Hotel records, it paid for her funeral at a cost of $32. You may see Sally during the night on the way back to your room, in her Victorian maid outfit, carrying a handful of towels for guests. Another apparition that has been witnessed in the hotel is that of Captain Richard King. He was the owner of one of the biggest ranches in the world, the King Ranch. He would often stay at the hotel during his lifetime, as he had his own personal suite. After being informed of his impending death by his physician, he spent the last few months of his life in his suite, writing his will and bidding farewell to his friends. His funeral was even held in the parlor of the hotel. His suite, now named the King Ranch Room, is where his ghost has been seen. Another apparition of a woman has been seen in the original hotel lobby. On one occasion, a staff member witnessed a woman in an old-fashioned blue dress knitting in the old lobby. Approaching her, the staff member asked if she was okay, and if there was anything she needed, only she answered with a stern no, disappearing shortly after. A male entity has been witnessed by a guest who was getting out of the shower. Emerging from the shower, the guest saw a man dressed in a buckskin jacket and gray pants, seemingly arguing with an unseen presence. "Are you going to stay, or are you going to go?" He was reported as saying 3 times before he vanished. There have also been reports of helpful ghosts in the kitchen, with staff members often reporting utensils floating through the air from one area to another. Due to the location of the hotel, facing the site of the Alamo, many of the reports can be attributed to the lives that were lost here. One of the most frequent reports is the sound of heavy footsteps and the sighting of old military boots. This is just a fraction of the reports that have occurred here, although all are seemingly friendly, with the only terrifying aspect of them being their sudden appearance, startling guests and staff alike. The Menger Hotel was built in 1859 by William Menger, under the guidance of architect John Fries. It was widely renowned as the grandest hotel west of the Mississippi, playing host to several important guests including Sam Houston, Generals Lee and Grant, and Presidents McKinley, Taft, Eisenhower, and Roosevelt, as well as Babe Ruth and Mae West. It rose to prominence as the best hotel in the Southwest after the Civil War had ended and various additions were made, as well as the new railroad that arrived in 1871. It was renowned for its fine cuisine, which included specialties such as snapper soup, which was made from turtles caught in the San Antonio River. Further additions were made in the 1880s, with a new bar being installed, designed as a replica of the Lord's Club in London, England. In 1909, the hotel was enlarged again, with additions to the south side, and continued to attract high members of society. It declined during the Great Depression. By 1951, the hotel had been completely renovated and modernized. In 1976, the Menger was included in the National Register of Historic Places as part of the Alamo Plaza Historic District. Located adjacent to the Alamo, the handsome Menger Hotel has played a central part in the history of San Antonio for over 150 years. Since its construction in 1859, the hotel has been enlarged several times, expanding to 316 guest rooms and suites. The original wrought iron balconies are still a redeeming feature of the property. It boasts San Antonio's largest heated indoor swimming pool, a full-service spa and fitness room, and one of the city's most highly respected restaurants. The majority of the room in the hotel overlooks the Alamo Pool, or Alamo Plaza, with all retaining the original period features of its past, such as four-poster beds and velvet-covered Victorian chairs, marble-top tables. Presidio La Bahia, located in the ancient town of Goliad, Texas, is a living witness to the region's turbulent past. With its rich history and architectural grandeur, this iconic Spanish fort has experienced centuries of victories and tragedies. However, stories of paranormal encounters and haunting apparitions have become an inseparable part of Presidio La Bahia's mystery, alongside the echoes of history. Step into the fort's sacred grounds and embark on an enthralling trip that combines the realms of history and the occult. Presidio La Bahia, a Spanish fort near Goliad, has a long history that dates back to its establishment in 1721. Initially located along the Guadalupe River, it was later moved to the banks of the San Antonio River in 1749 to protect it from Karankawa attacks. The fort served Spain and later Mexico, before falling into the hands of Texian forces during the Battle of Goliad. Under Colonel James Fannon's command, Texian troops stationed at La Bahia attempted to provide support to the Alamo, but arrived too late, as the Alamo had already been captured. On their way back to La Bahia, Fannin and his troops were forced to surrender to Mexican General Jose de Urrea, who then ordered their execution. Presidio La Bahia was restored in the 1960s and is now a National Historic Landmark. It is operated by the Catholic Diocese of Victoria, with its chapel serving as a community church. The fort offers visitors a comprehensive overview of its rich history spanning over 300 years, including annual reenactments that showcase its significant contribution to the legacy of Texas. Presidio La Bahia is not only renowned for its historical significance, but also for its tales of the supernatural. Over the years, visitors and staff have reported chilling encounters and unexplained phenomena within the fort's confines. Witnesses have claimed to hear the rhythmic beating of a phantom drum echoing through the fort at night. The source of this haunting percussion remains a mystery, evoking images of long-departed soldiers or spectral guardians, forever etched in the fabric of Presidio La Bahia. Over the years, numerous reports have emerged, detailing encounters with apparitions and ghostly figures within the fort's historic halls. Witnesses have described chilling experiences with spectral soldiers, clad in Spanish military uniforms, who seem to materialize fleetingly, as if trapped in an endless loop, reliving their duty-bound existence from times long gone. These ghostly manifestations add an extra layer of mystique and intrigue to Presidio La Bahia, further fueling its reputation as a place where history and the supernatural intertwine. Visitors and historians alike are left captivated by the ghostly remnants of the past that linger within the fort's walls, as they bear witness to the ethereal echoes of a bygone era. Many who have ventured within its walls have reported hearing enigmatic whispers and disembodied voices echoing through the corridors. These ethereal sounds seem to defy explanation, originating from empty rooms or concealed corners where no living presence can be found. The cryptic nature of these voices adds an additional layer of intrigue to the fort's already haunted reputation. Visitors find themselves drawn into contemplation, pondering the restless spirits that may still wander within the fort, their whispered messages carried on the unseen currents of time. The echoes of these enigmatic voices serve as a chilling reminder of the unseen forces that linger, inviting all who dare to explore to delve deeper into the mysteries held within Presidio La Bahia's historic confines. Sudden drops in temperature and localized cold spots have been experienced by visitors, even in areas where no logical explanation exists. These chilling areas are believed to be the result of supernatural energy, heightening the sense of otherworldly presence within the fort. Presidio La Bahia, a historic fort located in Goliad, Texas, holds a critical place in the state's history. Known as one of the most fought-over fortifications in Texas, its tales of bloody battles and rumored ghostly sightings have helped it gain a distinct status in pop culture and media. The Presidio's haunted history has been showcased in paranormal television programs such as Ghost Adventures, where the team explored and documented alleged supernatural occurrences within its storied walls. The historical importance and eerie tales associated with Presidio La Bahia are featured in the book Haunted Texas, a travel guide by April Slaughter, further spotlighting the fort's ghostly lore and historical significance. Today, Presidio La Bahia continues to be a must-visit site for history enthusiasts, ghost hunters, and tourists. Its appearances in pop culture and media reaffirm its place as a captivating nexus of history and the supernatural. Presidio La Bahia's historical significance has spurred efforts to preserve its architectural integrity and rich heritage. Restoration projects and ongoing maintenance ensure that future generations can appreciate the fort's cultural importance. By embracing the tales of the supernatural alongside its historical narrative, Presidio La Bahia offers a unique experience where visitors can immerse themselves in both the triumphs and the mysteries of the past. Presidio La Bahia stands as a gateway to a bygone era, where echoes of history intertwine with the ethereal. Explore the fort's time-worn walls, contemplate the spirits that may linger, and let the rich tapestry of the past unravel before you. Whether you seek a glimpse into Texas's colonial heritage or wish to delve into the enigmatic world of the supernatural, near the banks of the Big Cypress Bayou, a hop, skip, and a jump from the Louisiana border, the Jefferson Hotel has offered decadent hospitality for over 100 years, and its quaint early Victorian structure has stood for 50 more. The many ages and ownership changes of the property have left their subtle marks beneath the preserved period decor, and handwritten records overflow with guest sightings of at least 5 separate entities from beyond. The new proprietors have assumed stewardship of a once dilapidating historic treasure, meticulously restoring it with a keen eye for precision and nuance. The diverse array of antiques, alongside the meticulously themed rooms and decor, enhances the charm of this emblematic figure in the realm of the supernatural. In the 1850s, Jefferson was one of the most developed cities in Texas, second only to Galveston, thanks to newly chartered steamboat routes along the bayou. For traders working along the Mississippi and its tributaries, Jefferson was the westernmost port that could be reached without transferring their goods from boat to rail. The building now known as the Jefferson Hotel was built in 1851 as a warehouse to support the exploding cotton industry. It's unclear exactly when the Jefferson Hotel opened its doors as center of hospitality. Estimates range from as early as 1870 to as late as 1900. Once it did, however, it also dipped its toes into a business every bit as lucrative as cotton, especially on its ill-famed second floor. To this day, that floor is still encircled by the long veranda where the hotel's good time girls once advertised their wares. Come the era of Prohibition, the Jefferson Hotel became a roaring night spot and speakeasy under the name, the Crystal Palace. The hotel's ballroom, maintained until its recent closure with period furnishings, has borne witness to many an evening of tipsy risk-takers gambling with their fortunes, and couples dancing the night away to lively ragtime piano. The Jefferson Hotel has seen its fair share of the unexplainable, but unlike many allegedly haunted locales where stories are passed from one guest or employee to another, changing a little each time, the staff of the Jefferson have taken care to record as meant during its latter years of operation. A book of the dead was kept behind the front desk, in which guests were encouraged to write down the details of any contact with the hotel spirits. The brave and curious were even permitted to check volumes of the book out for bedtime reading. While there are many reported specters of the Jefferson Hotel, some of the most commonly cited are a pair of children of about 7 years old, a boy in knee-length breeches and a girl in a pinafore. They are believed to be casualties of the building's days as a cotton warehouse, but in spite of their laborious lives and untimely deaths, they're now some of the hotel's most high-spirited inhabitants, often heard laughing and chazzing each other through the halls. Hold on to your keys and valuables in the vicinity of the Jefferson Hotel. The mill children love to play with small objects and pull pranks on guests, moving possessions around and turning lights on and off. Little is known or even suspected about who this man might be, but numerous reports have described a tall male figure in a long coat and high boots, who comes and goes as he pleases. Though he makes no threatening moves, some guests have found him unsettlingly persistent, sitting or standing in their rooms throughout the night. Whoever he is, he's apparently the hotel's most solid and hard-to-miss apparition. Some guests have even reported following him down a hall, thinking him to be another living guest, only to watch him vanish as he turns into one of the rooms. Room 19 is a particularly volatile hotspot of paranormal activity, part of which seems to be connected with the anguished spirit of a teenage girl. Though records of the hotel's history as a bordello are understandably spotty, the girl is thought to be a prostitute who was stabbed by a client and left to die slowly in the room's bathtub. She now appears in the midst of hot showers and leaves messages on Room 19's bathroom mirror. Sometimes the words seem to be warnings, other times pleas for help. The name Judy has been seen among her scribbles, but it's unclear whether she's introducing herself or calling out to some long-gone friend or coworker for aid. This beautiful young woman appears most often to male guests traveling alone, and she can be recognized by her bridal gown, golden hair, and feet that never touch the ground. Though she's been seen all over the property, Libby mainly seems to haunt us. Experts and staff members disagree on the spirit's exact identity, though the most likely suspects are an Elizabeth and Olivia who stayed in the hotel almost 50 years apart from each other. Both women were jilted on their wedding days, both were likely pregnant at the time, and both subsequently hung themselves from the bed's unusually tall headboard. Libby in the bed of inhabited Room 12, Room 14, and even Room 19 at different times. One can only hope that she and Judy have found some post-mortem comfort in each other. Deep in the heart of downtown Dallas, standing proud at the intersection of history and mystery, the Old Red Museum looms like a sentinel from another century. With its striking Romanesque Revival architecture, red sandstone walls, and 4 grand turrets, it's hard to miss and even harder to forget. But this historic courthouse is more than just a pretty facade. It's a place where political upheaval, justice, and even spectral whispers of the past reside. Whether you're drawn to its cultural treasures or the chilling tales that echo through its corridors, the Old Red Museum is a must-visit for history buffs and ghost hunters alike. Constructed in 1892, the Old Red Museum, originally called the Dallas County Courthouse, was built to serve as the central seat of justice for the rapidly growing city. Dallas was booming in the late 19th century, and this new, imposing courthouse signified that the city had arrived. Built with red sandstone from Pecos County and blue granite from Arkansas, the building is a striking example of the Richardsonian Romanesque style, a popular architectural choice for American public buildings in the post-Civil War period. Designed by architect Max A. Orlick Jr., the structure was more than a courthouse, it stood as a symbol of Dallas's ambition. For decades, Old Red served as the stage where justice was meted out and where trials, political debates, and major civic decisions took place. Within these walls, verdicts were delivered that shaped Dallas County's history. Some of those judgments and the emotions they stirred may still linger today. Like many old buildings of its kind, the Old Red Museum has flirted with destruction more than once. Fires in 1894 and again in the mid-20th century caused extensive damage, but the bones of Old Red were strong. Over time, the courthouse saw renovations and repurposing, shifting from a legal center to various county offices, before eventually falling into disrepair. But history lovers and preservationists stepped in. In the early 2000s, the structure was fully restored and transformed into the Old Red Museum of Dallas County History and Culture, opening to the public in 2007. Today, the museum offers a rich timeline of Dallas history, from prehistoric artifacts to memorabilia from the JFK assassination. The exhibits are immersive, with interactive displays and original artifacts that provide a window into North Texas's layered past. Perhaps one of the most notable moments in the building's history is its proximity to Dealey Plaza and its connection to the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. On November 22, 1963, the eyes of the world turned to Dallas. While the Texas School Book Depository may have been closer to the event itself, the Old Red Museum, just a block away, was present standing watch over a national nightmare and the societal upheaval that followed. Even today, its island turret seemed to absorb the echoes of a day that changed America forever. Naturally, a building this old, steeped in human drama and deeply connected to pivotal moments in history, wouldn't be complete without a few ghost stories. Both seasoned paranormal investigators and casual visitors have shared accounts of strange happenings, hinting that Old Red might still be a place where memories linger alive with the echoes of the past. Numerous staff members and visitors have described seeing ghostly figures roaming the hallways. Some report a tall man in vintage judge's robes silently walking the main staircase, only to vanish as they approach. Others mention a woman in period clothing who appears near the old courtroom exhibits, her expression mournful and her presence fleeting. Common reports include cold spots, especially near the stairwells, and the unmistakable sensation of being watched, particularly on the upper floors where the judges' chambers once were. The elevator has also developed a reputation for moving between floors on its own, without any apparent explanation, a phenomenon that electronic technicians have been unable to resolve despite thorough inspections. Phantom footsteps echoing along the tiled corridors seem to be a regular phenomenon at Old Red. Security personnel have often reported hearing gavels striking, doors slamming shut, or even the soft murmurs of courtroom dialogue, though the building was empty at the time. Several ghost hunting groups who received special nighttime access to the museum claim to have recorded electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, that include whispered names, sudden cries, and strange knocks, responding directly to questions. In 2018, a local paranormal investigation team was granted a rare overnight session in the museum. Equipped with thermal cameras, motion detectors, and spirit boxes, the team documented several unexplained anomalies. Most chilling was their encounter on the third floor, where the old judicial archives were once kept. A team member felt a hard tug on his coat, caught on camera, yet no one was behind him. An EVP captured later that evening yielded the name Margaret, followed by a chilling, anguished moan. Could Margaret have been a witness to injustice, or worse, a victim of it? Whether spirits are simply residual energy or intelligent entities remains a matter of debate. But there is no denying the persistent reports that the Old Red Museum harbors more than just historical displays. For the curious traveler interested in layers of history and hidden truths, the Old Red Museum offers an irresistible blend. By day, it's a captivating look into the evolution of Dallas County, filled with stories of struggle, triumph, and transformation. By night, at least according to those who have experienced its shadowed corridors, it becomes a place where the past lives on in eerie, sometimes startling ways. Whether you're an amateur ghost hunter, a seasoned paranormal investigator, or simply fascinated by America's haunted landmarks, the Old Red Museum is a destination that promises history with a side of haunting. Pack your EMF readers, bring a flashlight, and keep your senses sharp. In Old Red, the walls have ears and perhaps spirits. So, next time you're in Dallas and looking to explore a location rich in both Miss Molly's Hotel in Fort Worth, Texas is a historic bed and breakfast that is rumored to be haunted. Located in the heart of the city's bustling Stockyards district, the hotel has a rich history dating back to the early 1900s. According to local legend, the hotel is haunted by the ghost of Miss Molly herself, who was the original owner and operator of the establishment. Miss Molly, whose real name was Mary McAnulty, was known for her kind and generous spirit and was beloved by all who knew her. However, it is said that Miss Molly's ghost has not left the hotel since she passed away in the 1950s. Guests and staff have reported strange noises and unexplained events, including doors opening and closing on their own, objects moving or disappearing, and even the sound of footsteps in the hallways when no one is there. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with Miss Molly's Hotel involves a young couple who stayed in room 214. According to the story, the couple woke up in the middle of the night to find Miss Molly standing at the foot of their bed, staring at them with a sad expression on her face. When the couple tried to speak to her, she simply turned and walked away, disappearing into the wall. Other guests have reported seeing Miss Molly's ghost in the hotel's lobby and dining room, as well as in the gardens and on the balconies. Some say that she is still looking after the guests and ensuring that they have a comfortable stay, while others believe that she is trying to communicate a message or warning from beyond the grave. Despite the rumors of ghosts and paranormal activity, Miss Molly's Hotel remains a popular and beloved destination for tourists and locals alike. Many people are drawn to the hotel's charming atmosphere and rich history, and are willing to risk a ghostly encounter in the hopes of experiencing something truly extraordinary. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is no denying that Miss Molly's Hotel has a certain sense of mystery and intrigue that makes it a must-visit destination in Fort Worth. So if you're feeling brave, why not book a room and see if you can catch a glimpse of. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And as always, until next time.